Support for this podcast comes from St. Alphonsus Sports Medicine, offering services for sports injury and recovery, with physicians and athletic trainers who provide treatment for fractures, dislocations, sprains, strains, and other sports-related issues. More information on services at stalphonsus.org. So you can't see this, but hopefully you can hear it. Behind every Boise State Public Radio podcast is a team working hard to bring you stories that matter. So if you value podcasts like this one, please support them. Hit donate at boisestatepublicradio.org. Thanks.
It's The Connector, Idaho Daily News, on this Monday, June 22nd. I'm Troy Oppie. Here are this morning's headlines. Diverging results for low and high-income Idaho families after nearly a decade of state and federal tax reform. Budget cuts for Valley Regional Transit in Nampa mean service cuts. And Idaho Republicans elected an all-female slate of party officers this weekend. But up first on this Monday, for the 25th year, Boise celebrated World Refugee Day this past Saturday. People braved the rain to enjoy traditional dances, live music, global food, and artisan vendors. Our Julie Lucetta spoke to one of the volunteers.
Refugee is like spices for the community. You can find all the refugees, different colors, different religion, different faces. Everything is different. But that's what makes the community more strong. My name is Saeed Al-Azawi. I'm from Baghdad, Iraq. I moved to the United States 2017. I'm civil engineer, studying BSU to get back to my degree, but I work at the same time at JUMP. I'm the security manager here. I came here with a special immigrant visa. I used to work with the U.S. Embassy in Iraq and U.S. forces in Iraq. Then I got shot in my head. I saved one of my friends. He's American. And he's from Boise. Therefore, I came to Boise. He became my sponsor. Yeah. Came with my wife and 3 kids. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. I like diversity. We used to live in a country filled with conflicts and problems. Now we found a better place. It's safe and hope and good opportunity and good, bright future waiting for our kids and our families. I became a U.S. citizen like 3 years ago. It's some feeling you cannot express. It's very happy feeling. You became proud of yourself. You became American, and you're gonna work hard to serve the community and the country. Everybody in Idaho is supportive and welcoming. That's what I witnessed with myself. Everybody is helpful and help my kids in the school. And now my job is to support the new refugees and the new people exactly like the other did to me and to my family. I think I'm very blessed to end up in Boise. It's the greatest people ever, lovely people. I know it's very cold, but I love it.
This story was produced by our Julie Lucetta. In other stories this morning, changes proposed to public transit in Nampa will be shared with the Nampa City Council this afternoon. Valley Regional Transit says it's prepared a $500,000 budget for the upcoming fiscal year, which starts in October. That's about 40% less than what it initially requested from the city of Nampa after the City Council asked VRT to cut its spending. VRT says the cuts would mean no more Route 40 service in Nampa. That's the express bus between Caldwell and Boise. On-demand rides would change to smaller vehicles, and some public rideshare services like Uber and Lyft fares would stay the same, but ride-hailing would come with a small upcharge. Details of this plan will be presented starting at 3:30 this afternoon at the Nampa Civic Center. A public hearing on the proposed changes follows at 5 p.m. this evening. Details and a survey about the changes is online at ridevrt.org/Nampa-Caldwell. And VRT is a financial supporter of Boise State Public Radio. Many low-income families in Idaho have seen their tax bills rise in recent years, while the state's highest earners have seen what they pay fall by 6 figures. As Spokane Public Radio's Owen Henderson reports, that change is the product of 8 years of state and federal tax cuts.
As the state and federal government reduce revenue by cutting taxes and slash things like health insurance subsidies,
those costs don't just disappear. They are shifted onto families and local communities.
May Roberts is a policy analyst for the nonpartisan Idaho Center for Fiscal Policy. She authored a new report on the effect of the tax cuts since 2018. She says those shifting costs can look like higher property taxes, rising tuition at state schools, and decreased access to health care and food assistance. Idaho households have gotten $4.5 billion in annual state and federal tax cuts since 2018. The top 1% of households, those making about $770,000 a year or more, have seen their yearly tax bills go down by an average of more than $110,000. Meanwhile,
the lowest income Idahoans, those that earn $29,000 and less, actually had their tax bill go up by about $100.
Many Republican state lawmakers say the income tax cuts are necessary to offset rising property taxes. Property taxes have increased for many, as school districts strive to make up for receiving less state funding. I'm Owen Henderson reporting.
Idaho's Republican Party delegates re-elected Dorothy Moon to a third two-year term as party chair over the weekend. The votes happened at the party's annual convention. The state GOP's elected officers are all female, with mostly new faces. Vicki Purdy was elevated from party second vice chair to first vice chair. Former lawmaker Julianne Young was elected to second vice chair. Sandra Eaton and Carla Matare are the newly elected party treasurer and secretary, respectively. That's all according to a social media post from the state Republican Party. The average price for a gallon of gas nationwide fell under $4 a gallon late last week for the first time since prices spiked as the U.S. began its bombing campaign in Iran. Prices in Idaho are falling as well, but do remain above the national average. Travel Club AAA reported Idaho's statewide average at $4.24 as of Sunday. That's down about 15 cents in the last week, about 45 cents lower than a month ago. But local areas are all over the map. Boise's average price, for example, is $4.14 a gallon, while the average in Twin Falls is just over $4.40. Pocatello is not far behind. Prices in Franklin in southeast Idaho are close to $4 a gallon. Unemployment in Idaho last month ticked up 0.1 point to 3.7% statewide. The total number of employed people fell slightly, along with the state's total labor force, both down 0.1 point. The difference between them, a 146-person increase in the total number of unemployed people. And that's what bumped up the unemployment rate. It's a similar story for the year-over-year numbers, with the number of employed people shrinking slightly faster than the state's labor force, which is still just over 1 million Idahoans statewide as of last month. A deadly livestock infection has returned to the United States after decades, just as rodeo season is hitting high gear. Animals and contestants travel across the country, including with stops here in Idaho. Chantel Ramirez-Sanchez reports on how last week's Snake River Stampede ensured livestock stay safe.
Texas and New Mexico have both reported cases of screwworm, a parasitic fly that can be deadly to livestock by feeding on open wounds. Clint Childs, board of director of the Stampede, says the rodeo takes active precautions to protect the animals.
So whether it's a new wound or an open wound that's been for a while, it doesn't matter. Any open wound is being inspected immediately.
He says, as animals switch stages for competition, staff actively inspect the animals, reporting concerns to on-site veterinarians.
The TRCA has processes where any of their contestants across state lines have to have medical clearances for all their animals.
Child says the rodeo didn't have any livestock coming from infected areas, with show animals mainly from Idaho or Colorado. Chantel Ramirez-Sanchez, Boise State Public Radio News.
Shifting estimates of spring Chinook salmon returns in North Idaho may have led to an overharvest on the Clearwater system this year, and fewer fish thus available to support hatchery broodstock. The Lewiston Tribune reports more than 1,100 Chinook were harvested during the Clearwater season. That's according to State Fish and Game, and it was about the preseason target for harvest. But it turns out populations were overestimated, leading to an overharvest of actual conditions. The number of Chinook reaching the Lower Granite Dam from the Ice Harbor Dam on the Snake River this spring, called a conversion rate, was also significantly lower than average, which affected the Chinook population. Fisheries managers don't know why, but are investigating. The overharvest has led state and native tribes, which are supposed to equally share the Chinook harvest, to shrink broodstock targets, the number of fish collected for hatchery spawning. But the Tribune reports the state and tribes say they think normal broodstock numbers this year are still attainable. Athletic Club Boise picked up a big win at home over the weekend, 1-0 over league-leading Omaha. A clean sheet, that's a shutout in soccer terms, was particularly important for Boise after defensive struggles in recent weeks. Tumi Moshobane headed in the game's only score in the 69th minute. Each team only had one shot on net the whole game. The result, in front of a club record 7,247 fans, has AC Boise in 5th place in USL League One with 12 days off until the next match at home July 2nd against 1 Knoxville FC. They are the defending USL League One champs. And that's the Connector for Monday, June 22nd. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast if you have not already. And to stay in touch with the news between now and our next episode tomorrow morning, you can visit BoiseStatePublicRadio.org. I'm Troy Oppie. Make it a great day.
Each story you hear on Planet Money starts with a question. What happens if we refund tariffs? Why are groceries so expensive? At NPR, we stand for your right to be curious because the forces shaping our world can be hard to see. Follow NPR's Planet Money wherever you get your podcasts and start seeing how the economy really works.